What is going on all your lawn care and landscape enthusiasts? My name is Jack Duffy, and welcome to the Green Collar Podcast. A little, hey, how are you? I know, I'm wearing the same sweatshirt. It's the same day. I'm recording these all on Sunday. I got a busy week this week with estimates, snow, possibly some work, baby, which is crazy because I've been staring at a foot of snow on the fucking ground for a goddamn month. I'm sick and tired of it, dude. I'm sick and tired of looking at snow. I want grass again. I want green grass. I want leaves on the trees. Can we please get that? I'm so ready for spring, which is why today we are going to be talking about the five, you like that transition? 5 things that I recommend and tips to focus on before the spring rush. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. So I like to do this similarly to how to start a lawn care and landscaping business. Each year I like to do these videos because things do change. It's not always the same every year. Some of it is, most of it is, but there are things that change within the year that maybe weren't there last year at the start. So I'm going to be doing this video and talking about 5 things that I think you guys should be focusing on right now in February as we get closer and closer to those sunny, beautiful spring days where we're going to be working till it gets dark out. So before we get into this, I just want to talk about the first few things that I basically talked about in last year's video. I mentioned I did this video last year around this time talking about 5 things that last year I felt were the things that maybe us landscapers and lawn care guys overlook in the winter months that we could be doing to get ready and prepared for the spring rush. First things I want to talk about is looking at your equipment. I know it's cold outside. I know none of us want to look at it and we are thinking, oh my God, it's freezing outside. There's snow covered, blah, blah, blah. But right now you need to look at your equipment and understand, okay, remember, fall cleanups were the last thing you use these equipment for, unless you use maybe a stand-on within your snow removal fleet, if that's what you use. If you have a plow for maybe your stand-on, I get that. But for most of us, our machines have been sitting dormant since fall cleanups and leaves. If you did not do this in the fall, I highly recommend it. Go over every aspect of each machine. Check the oil, check the air filters, check the fuel filters, check every nook and cranny that you possibly can to make sure those mowers, you know what you need before spring gets crazy, because I can guarantee you what happens every year at dealerships, at mechanic shops for mowers, whatever it is, wherever you get your parts and things that you need for your machines. If you order them in late March, they might not be there because that is the time when a lot of guys are ordering parts. If you order them in February and you have them, maybe you don't even have to put them in or replace an air filter or a fuel filter, or maybe you need to change the oil. Maybe you don't do that until March, but if you already have the tools and the parts that you need already on in your garage or in wherever you are working in your shop, you can just go and do it. You don't have to wait for a dealer to get the parts in and then go, oh shit, now I got to go get this thing. Or I have to wait 2 weeks into April. This machine's still sitting dormant since fall. Now I'm behind. Now I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. You don't have to think about that. If you get it now, then you can go into March and it's already in your shop and you can just go and do it when the weather gets a little bit warmer. That's one of the biggest things that I do pretty much every year around this time is I go over all of my machines. I'll be doing that this week because this week we are finally getting a break in the weather, which is nice. We haven't had that. It's been in the low teens for a month, it feels like. So this week we're going to be in the 40s, 50s. So this is a perfect time for me to go and look at my machines and see what I'm going to need to buy before the spring rush, so that in March I can take a day and just go over the machine, pressure wash it, clean everything up, and make sure they're ready to go out the door the first mow of the season, ready and able to cut with no breakdowns. It's one of the biggest things you can do that saves you so much time in the beginning of the year and limits breakdowns right off the bat that put you behind, especially when you have rain that you're dealing with in the spring months. The second thing I talked about last year, which I actually talked about in the How to Start a Landscaping Business, is make sure you are getting out your marketing right now as quick as you can, because in my personal opinion, you should have done that in January. That's when I did it. I'm not taking on much new work this year, but last year I was taking on a lot of new work, which I'm retaining this year, so I don't need to build any more marketing for mowing specifically. For other landscaping jobs, yes, we are marketing. We already did that in January. But If you're still not late to the party if you haven't done so already. It is February. You can start marketing for mulching jobs. You can start marketing for shrub pruning. You can market for spring cleanups. You can market for mowing. So, my personal opinion right now is the best time to send out Facebook posts, Instagram posts, make a post on your website, on the Facebook community pages that you're in. Maybe you want to do paid ads on Facebook. I don't recommend that personally. Maybe on Google. I would stay away from Yelp. In my personal opinion, I've had nothing but bad experiences on Yelp. Maybe you have a different one, but for me personally, Yelp is not it. I could tell you that straight up. It's not it. Google, though, Google ads do work. It more is demographic. It goes to where you are located, which is building route density, which is what you want within your business. In my personal opinion, now would be the time to get those ads and marketing campaigns out, because if you do it in March, a lot of people already have their lawn guys set up. They already have their mulching guys set up. They don't want to think about it. Right now is the best time to do that, because you want to make sure that you are getting ahead of it before the other companies do. Before they go, oh shit, I have to get a lawn care company, and they just go to the big boys in your area. But the other part of that is your current customers. Send out newsletters to all your current customers. I did so 2 weeks ago to all of my lawn care customers. I have a few seasonal prepaid people who pay for the entire season because they travel or they're a commercial business and they'd rather do that, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I send out my newsletter for all of my customers to make sure that they are keeping with us for the following year. You can check off your list of who's coming back within your clientele list. Maybe you lose some to other companies. Maybe they just aren't renewing this year. Maybe they're handling their own lawn this year. All of that can happen. If you're checking in with your current customers, you know exactly who you have on your list and how many. And if you lose some, you can fill in with new customers and know specifically, okay, I need 3 customers to replace 3 customers that I lost. That's how you do it. So send out newsletters. If you have a CRM, a lot of CRMs, I know mine does, you can send out a quick email chain. It sends out to all your customers. It's very professional. Utilize AI maybe to write your descriptions. It's very simple. You have all the tools in front of you, and most of them are free. Piggybacking off of that same concept, it's not just your customers that you want to check in with, it's also your employees. If you have 1 or 2 guys on your crew, or maybe 5 or 10, whatever it is, you want to check in with them over the winter to make sure they're coming back this season. Because listen, if you have to hire somebody in April, that's not the best time to hire people. You're going to lose a lot of, so you're not going to have great candidates coming in for job interviews, because a lot of the guys who are the best at what they do or really good at it and know what they're doing have already been hired in March or February. So make sure you're checking in with your current guys to say, hey, just checking in, are you coming back this year? Because it's very easy to send them a text or send them an email and say, just, hey, I'm checking in. I want to make sure that I'm going to be having the crew that I need to get these jobs done so that we can move forward and get things done that are on our list. It's a very important thing that I think a lot of guys overlook, because they just assume, okay, I had these guys in the fall and summer of last year. Of course they're coming back. You don't know what's in their mind. You don't know their situation. You don't know what's going on in their personal life. Maybe they got another job interview. I've had that happen before, where one of my employees said, hey, I got a better job offer here. I'm going to take it. No hard feelings, none at all. If that's what he wanted to do, that's what he wants to do. But he let me know in the fall that he wasn't coming back. So I knew it wasn't going to happen. But a lot of times people don't think to let their other employer know, especially if they've been laid off. They think, okay, if I'm laid off, maybe I don't have to tell them, because maybe they're just assuming I'm not coming back. You never know what people are thinking until you talk to them. It's easy to communicate, send an email, send a text, or call them on the phone and just say, hey, listen, I just want to make sure you're going to be on the crew this year so that we know that we don't have to hire somebody to replace you. So the third thing that I mentioned last year, which is still prevalent this year, is yes, it goes off of what I was just talking about with employees. Say you have your crew coming back, your entire crew. Change things up. Maybe you want to build a culture. Maybe you want to make them feel more involved in your business. Because if they're more involved in your business and they're more loyal to your business and feel like they're appreciated and their opinions are taken into consideration, they're going to work harder. They're going to feel important and feel like their job is important and that they're going to be a part of something that is bigger than themselves. Especially if you are the person that is sticking out your hand and saying, hey, listen, I want you to feel involved in this company. I want you to feel like you're a part of this. I want your opinions on where we go from here. Build culture, get ideas from your guys, because there are some things that we as business owners, we just don't think about because we have so many other things that we have to check off. We just don't have time to think about everything. So utilize what you have, build a culture and relationship with your guys and say, hey, I value your opinion. I want to build a culture with you guys that say, hey, yes, we are working together, but it's not that you work for me. Yes, there has to be that boundary, of course, but have it so that they feel involved and treated as so their opinion is valid within the company to make the company better because they have ideas. I guarantee a lot of your guys have ideas that you never have even thought of. And some of them really work out. Some of them may not fit your business plan or business model, but most times it can happen where a great idea happens. I had an employee who used to tell me all the time his ideas, and I would implement a lot of them, and I still do to this day because they were valuable ideas that made my business more efficient and more profitable. Never sleep on that. Build your culture, because if you can build a culture with your guys and build a relationship with your guys where they feel valued and feel like their voice is heard, they're going to work harder within your company and for your company to make it the best they can, because they know if the company succeeds, they succeed and they get higher pay, they get rewards, they get benefits. All of that works out and you work as a team. That's the way you should build your business. And checking in and having those conversations on your downtime during the winter is one of the best times to do it. You don't have all these other stresses of like, okay, we're going to have this tailgate talk after we just worked 8 to 9 hours mowing lawns in the blazing hot sun. Instead, I'm going to have a cup of coffee with my guys in my shop, talk to them, or in my office right here, and just talk to them and get some ideas that we can put forward to make our company more efficient, more profitable, which means higher raises for them in the future. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is route density and route strategy. So a big thing within lawn care is making sure that we're not wasting time on the road, windshield time, as I like to call it, where you're in the truck more often than you are mowing grass. If you can limit that and make your days make sense, right? Right now is the best time to do that. Knowing what you have coming in, it goes back to the second point I talked about, is reaching out to your customers, knowing who's coming back, knowing any new customers that you already are now having within that list and that route list. What that does and what it can lead to is now you have that on your screen. You can look at that. You can see the addresses. Okay, this area, this area, this area, this town, this town, this town. What and how can you make that more efficient driving wise? One of the biggest things, like I said, is wasting time on driving. If you can make your route more dense and make it make sense, where it's more logical that, okay, we're going to be in this town one day, we're going to be in this town another day, we're going to be in this town the next day. Or if you have a lot of neighborhoods, say you do 3-4 subdivision neighborhoods where you have 8 or 9 in each, make sure you're doing them all on the same day, because the truck never moves for the majority of the day. That is one of the biggest things that we do. We have a lot in a few neighborhoods where we'll take our Tuesday, Thursday route and say, okay, well, these are our bigger property days. We have a lot of bigger properties where it's just acres of mowing, right? We have 3 guys on crew that day. It's all hands on deck. We have a lot of things to do on those properties. If you have neighborhoods, though, what you can do is make it so one day you have one neighborhood, and then that same day you go to the next neighborhood, and you get those 2 big neighborhoods out of the way in one day, because you're not wasting time driving anywhere. For the majority of the day, the truck never moves, and that saves you time where you're cutting more grass than you are driving. That's a big thing. So build your routes right now. And of course, weather plays a part in that. Don't get me wrong. Weather can screw you over. Rain can screw you over. It happens, especially in the spring. But if you have a plan, you can adjust the plan when those days come out. You're not just winging it and saying, we're going here today. We're going here today. Oh, now we can't go here. Now our whole schedule's fucked. Instead, you can go, well, we're just going to push everything back one day because of a rain day. That happens. That's what we do, right? If we have a Monday route, it's raining on Monday. Monday's route comes to Tuesday. Tuesday's route comes to Wednesday, and so on and so forth. What I like to do is around middle of February, I'll usually come up with what our days of the week are going to look like for our routes, for our mowing. And it's a good practice to just get used to, because if you're planning on it one or 2 days before your mowing season, well, now you're behind the 8 ball, because what happens if it rains the first day of mowing season? Now you're fucked. Yeah, it's all out of whack. If you come up with it sooner and you know it, you can send it to your guys, and now they know, and you're off and running without even thinking about it. So making sure that everything is efficient within your route density, it's a huge thing. I personally recommend it right now or even early March. I think it's a big thing that you could do to make sure you're not only spending less time driving, but making your routes and your lawn care for the specific days make sense, because sometimes different properties take different machines. Making sure that the machines are on the right trailer, that's a huge thing. If you already have a plan in place in March, April then becomes very easy. You just follow the plan and you adjust on the fly when it rains. So lastly, this is one that is interesting in my personal opinion, and I don't know how this one's going to go for you guys. I'm curious if this is something you guys do. It's something that me and my wife want to do every March, and that is taking a break. And I don't mean, okay, winter break, right? Oh, we have a few months where we're having some downtime. We'll do some snow, but most of the time we're not really doing much of anything. That's not the kind of break I mean. What I mean is take a trip somewhere. I don't care where it is, whatever makes you happy. Whether it's a long weekend or a week-long trip. This year for us, luckily enough, it's going to be our honeymoon. But next year it might be a weekend trip to North Carolina, Florida, wherever's warm, because we love the warm. That's where we love to be. We love to be warm. We love to be by a beach. That's our thing. Whatever works for you, though, in March, I highly recommend just taking a few days, get away with your wife, or if you don't have a wife, just do it yourself, maybe with some friends. Take the time and get your head right, knowing I have a very stressful few months where a lot of personal time is not going to be available. Take a long weekend or a week and just get away from your business for a little while, from the stresses of planning, from all of that, to just refocus your mind. Because when you come back, you're refocused, you're rested, you're ready to go, and you don't have the stresses of the dull winter and the boring ass winter where none of us want to go out and do anything because it's so goddamn cold outside. And you also get to spend time with the people you love. And it's such an important thing, especially for those of us who have wives. A lot of times in the spring, we don't get to see our wives a lot. We don't get to spend a lot of time. There's not a lot of date nights that happen because we're so stressed about work. We have a lot on our plate. We're working long days. It happens. But don't forget those relationships, man. Don't forget it. If you have kids, make sure you're spending time with your kids. Make sure that take the time where you're still not working as much in March or late February. Do something with your kids. Do something with your wife. Do something with your friends. Live your life for a little while and get a feel of just relaxing, because our lives are stressful as business owners. They are overwhelming. There's everything that possibly could happen that could go wrong, will go wrong. And it does happen. But if you go in already stressed in March and your entire spring is that same way, you're not going to have the people in your life as much as you want to that are going to be able to bring you back to reality. So I highly recommend maybe booking just a weekend getaway with your wife and your kids, or with your friends if you're single. Get right and get right up here so that in the spring, you're rested, you're ready to go, and you're refocused and you're re-energized for the craziness that is spring rush. I don't know if anybody's going to really believe in that the way that I do, but I believe that spending time with your family, spending time with your wife, spending time with your kids if you have them is so important, especially going into a few months where you're not going to have as much free time as you would like. That's my 5 things, though. I want to know in the comments what you guys are planning, what if I missed any tips. If you want to add any tips, I would love to hear you guys. I would love to build a community on this channel where we talk as peers within this industry, helping each other out, helping each other grow their business so that we can have a successful industry and keep this industry alive. That's what I want, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you guys could leave a like, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe for all new lawn care and landscaping content, especially the Green Collar Podcast. And I hope you guys have an amazing spring 2026 and a full great year of 2026. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.